Hey, it's Sarah from Halftone Digital, and today we're going to be covering keyframes in After Effects. So let's get into it. If you remember the first two episodes of this Basics of After Effects series, we've covered the interface of After Effects and the basics of layers in After Effects. And so today we're going to be using those two features to create keyframes, which is essentially what will animate our project. Right now, our canvas is empty, and so we're going to bring in a solid. And to do that, I'm using Command Y to bring up a solid, and we're going to make this white. And let's create a text layer that says Hello World. So Command T for text and say Hello World. And I want this to be black using the character panel. All right, excellent. And you can see that our anchor point is off center, which we've covered in a previous video. And so I'm going to use the anchor point, the pan behind anchor point tool, to the center of our object. And this will make animating it way easier because if we rotate the text, it will rotate around the anchor point and so on and so forth. So, and then using the align panel, we're going to center it in our canvas. And now we're going to be animating our text. I want our text to fade in, but also start down here and go up. So it'll be at 0 opacity down here and then move up into the center of the canvas. So right where we have it now is our final destination. Just for your After Effects workflow, it makes sense to start at your final destination if your object is where you want it to end up on the canvas rather than having to find that position later on. So I'm going to say that this animation is going to take 1 second. And as you can see, it's by frames. On our timeline, this is 10 frames, 20 frames, 30 frames, 40 frames, 50, and 60. And if you remember, in our composition settings, we have it set to a frame rate of 60. So that explains why it's at 60. But because it's just a regular vector animation, I'm going to bring it down to 30. We're going to open up our keyframe options by hitting this drop down on the layer and opening up transform, because opacity and position are both transform animation options. And there's a lot more options for animations that you can get from effects or based off of the layer type, which we covered in a previous video. We want to animate position and opacity by clicking the little watch icon on that layer. By clicking those stopper watches, we have two little diamonds on our timeline under the 30 frame mark. If we bring our little scrub bar down to 0, we can adjust the position and opacity, and it will automatically appear on the timeline because it registers that there's been a difference since our previous keyframe was made. And as long as you don't have a keyframe manually positioned on the timeline, it won't show up. Changes won't show up on the timeline. So if, say, we don't have these two frames, we can make as many adjustments as we want and it won't appear on the timeline. So let's bring those keyframes back. I'm going to be using the X and Y axes options here to adjust the positioning and the percentage option here for opacity. So I'm going to adjust the Y-axis down a touch by clicking and dragging. You can go in both directions, but we're just going to be dragging it there. And then down to 0. Alright, so we have this nice, slow, smooth animation, but it could be faster and it would look a whole lot slicker. What I'm going to do is click and drag to select these two keyframes, but I can also select them each individually by holding Shift and clicking them. I'm going to bring it down to 15, so twice as fast as the previous animation. That's a bit better, but I want it to be closer to 10, so I'm going to bring it there. And if you noticed, it snaps to the position where the scrub bar is, and to do that I held the Shift button. It's especially helpful for when your timeline is completely zoomed out, then it will snap directly to the scrub bar by holding Shift, so things to note. We can also stagger the keyframes so it will come into focus sooner. But you know what? It would be also a whole lot slicker if we used some easing. I just right-clicked on the keyframes and selected easy ease. And opacity isn't as important to me to ease, but you can also ease the opacity if you wanted to. Something to note about using keyframes on the timeline is that you can also adjust them on the canvas. And what I mean by that is that each keyframe on our timeline appears as a node on the canvas. And so if we zoom in with our animated object selected, you can see that each keyframe has a node on the path that our object travels along. And if we get even closer, you can see these little dots over the line that the object travels along. And these dots act as handles that we can click and drag. We can adjust the shape of the path that the object moves along. You can see that now the text curves. If we get even closer, aside from this dot here, there are smaller points along the path. You can see that our anchor point, which is the piece of our object that travels along this path, which is why we centered it. If we had the anchor point off-centered, like we did at the start, this path would be along that anchor point. And so our anchor point is now traveling along each frame, otherwise known as those very small, the smallest dots on the path. We can look at this and say that these keyframes are the ones that we manually choose. We chose those anchor points, and the pieces in between are the frames that Adobe After Effects automatically generates for our objects. In a previous video on manual easing, you can adjust the speed at which the object is carried on various points of its path. So check out that manual easing video for more information on easing and keyframes. But for the basics of keyframes, this is looking spicy. Alright, so now I want to do something funky with a blur effect to show you how effects can also be animated. So I'm gonna look up Gaussian blur in the effects and presets panel, and you can see that it's shown up on a row beneath our hello world text. And we're going to open up Gaussian blur down here. But as you can see up above where our assets usually are, Gaussian blur also appears there. So you can adjust your effects in that panel or on the timeline, and it will work the same way regardless of where you decide to edit effects and presets. So getting back to it, since this is where I want the blur, and I'm going to select the little stopper next to blurriness at 0. And then here, I'm going to bring it up to 5. And then I'm going to manually ease by going into the speed graph. Looking good. Alright, so what I ended up doing was speeding it up at the start and slowing the blur animation at the end. And it looks pretty nice. So, just an overview on keyframes. We've covered the basics of keyframes primarily in the transform option underneath our text layer. The transform options are essentially the foundation of every object in After Effects, and probably the foundation of most of the objects you're going to be using in After Effects. Understanding how they work, the x-axes, the y-axes, and being able to use the timeline to tell After Effects when you want something to move, when you want it to fade, when you want it to rotate, and all of the above. I hope you guys have fun working with keyframes in After Effects, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!